Uh,
All right. Is the sound good over here?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I gotta check, make sure the levels. All right, say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, yep, that works. All right, say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
That was your camping trip?
Yeah, apparently that's.
Okay. All right, I'm on your little stream.
Are you on as a protector of the realm?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
And are you in Texas?
Yes, I'm in North Dallas. So I've lived in Atlanta, Mississippi, Florida,
I was there in March.
and where? Dallas.
Dallas. Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth.
What'd you come to Dallas for?
Uh, Relatives. My stayed with some relatives in Fort Worth. It was spring break for our kids, so
Okay. Yeah, we like this area a lot actually.
my so I stopped by. Do you know Team Skeptic? Have you heard of him?
I don't.
Okay,
I am in
he
my
does
own world,
videos. He
so
does videos. He's in Dallas somewhere near I don't know.
what kind of
I don't.
content does he do?
He used to do mostly flat Earth. Now he does Karen videos. So, all
That's
right,
funny.
I got 20 seconds.
Looks like a storm's coming. Yeah, I just bought this crappy microphone today. My other headset broke, so.
I've had worse.
You're my very first discussion too, by the way, that of our counter views. I would say on the internet. I've talked to people
Time,
every day, so
time to go live.
okay.
Hello, I'm mcToon, and it's Tuesday night. We've got a debate tonight with Preston. Oh, I didn't verify how to say the last name right. Preston Vaughan, I think. Is that right, Preston?
Yep.
All right.
Preston
Well,
Vaughan.
welcome to Preston. Welcome to everybody watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, and if you're not, then be sure to stay subscribed. Whatever. Anyway, Preston, why don't you introduce yourself here?
Preston Vaughan. Grew up in the South. I've done a fair mix of all kinds of jobs, works of life. Lived a long life for a 38-year-old, and I've done a lot of observing of the sky in the last about 6, 7 years. So I'm pretty relaxed, chill. I just like everybody else, open. I'm very theistic. I like philosophy. And that's pretty much why I'm down the road I'm down today, I would say.
Right. Thanks. So we he had issued a challenge on YouTube to
Where did you hear
debunk.
this, by the way? Where was it? Where did you just run into it, or?
People send me things all the time. So a friend of mine sent me a link to your video, your challenge video. So maybe you can explain your challenge, and then you had like a something that you were going to present that is kind of the what should be challenged, what should be I guess my task to examine.
Okay.
So start with the challenge so people know what it is that your video is about.
My challenge was I have a theory based off my experiences and what I observe that all the light, daylight, nightlight, sun, moon, stars, all the luminaries that we are seeing are small, close, and local to each person's personal zenith, and they come to and away each person's zenith, and all the light that you're seeing is projected from you, and that all the lights are centered to your experience, and they come to and away from your personal experience, and your circle of sight is very limited. And when you're seeing these objects, they're very close to you. I don't know what they are. I don't admit to knowing anything outside of my own personal experience bubble. And what I'm seeing and noticing from colors on the horizon, noticing that those colors are centered to my experience, knowing my circle of sight and vision is very limited in every which direction. Even if I go up very high, it's hard to prove, even if the Earth is flat or not. But what I can prove, I do think that the luminaries follow you. They're close and local to you. They illuminate nearby clouds. The beams of sun rays at 9 p.m. and 5 p.m. are shooting away from you with crepuscular rays, which would mean they're within your area. And yeah, and like the moon only illuminates nearby clouds. We can all zoom in on stars with very optimal zoom cameras. So there's a lot of things where I just say my experience is telling me that I'm inside of some kind of divine simulation or creation, and that I'm experiencing my own lights. And that's pretty much my theory in the whole, and can pretty much be rounded about, answered over and over again with the same answer. So
What was specifically your challenge then?
to debunk that I'm not witnessing my own lights, and that they're not personal to each observer, and they're not small, close, and local to each observer. If you could prove that, then they're not centered to the experience and what we're seeing. Like when I witnessed the sun following me down the highway at 85 miles per hour, and I could speed it up times 6 and then zoom it back and forth and watch it appear to be right there in the sky, change shadings with the clouds as I'm speeding up and forwarding it down. It appears to be right there within the sky that I'm looking at, but yet you're telling me that's the same sun that somebody's witnessing on bottom of the ball, two completely different angles, and they tell me this is parallax. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense to me, and they're not anything close to what I'm experiencing, that I've been taught. So I stopped debating flat Earth and stopped. I actually like a lot of your videos. I think a lot of flat earthers don't do any research, any observations of their own, and they wander and repeat and regurgitate a lot of nonsense that, like a 360-degree ice wall and a hard dome. I agree with most of a lot of things that globe earthers attack flat earthers on. I'll be completely honest about that. So, because I don't believe in the mainstream flat earth theory either. So.
Okay. So, do you just?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a map idea that you have?
A map idea? My map idea. Pull out your phone, zoom all the way out, click on your map. That's my map.
Google Earth.
Yep, good old Google Earth map version.
That's a globe.
A map version. That's what I consider the Earth to be. Is a realm, a system environment. You head in one direction long enough to come back to where you came from. It's not that hard to imagine if you can imagine people upside down and water sticking to a ball. There's not that hard to imagine that we're inside of a realm and a system environment.
nobody
Right.
claims that anybody's upside down sticking to a ball.
Right, but that's what they say the planet is. That it's a spherical object with water
Yeah, but
surrounding it, right?
nobody's upside down.
So there's no pieces of land that are on the bottom
There's no
side.
bottom. There's no bottom.
I agree with you. There's no bottom.
So
Everything's at top.
on the globe, down
Yeah.
is towards the center. So it sounds like you're going after
Inward
a straw
and
man.
outward.
So
Rather than up and down.
Yeah, attacking a straw man doesn't actually succeed in proving your point. It just succeeds in attacking something that isn't the globe. So there is no bottom to the globe. There's nothing falling that would fall off the bottom of the globe. Down is towards the center of the globe.
Inward.
Is away from the center.
Up and down is only on a flat Earth. In and out is on a globe.
Well, I being that it's my model, I'll use the words I want to describe it. You describe your model with your words. I'll describe model with.
Well, up and down on a sphere isn't up and down for everybody. Inward and outward, it would be up, in and out for everybody on your model. That's what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
So the downward vector is based on where you are on the globe. Right?
Okay.
It's towards the center. So all right. So I think your model right here. This one. This is your model.
A cylinder? No. I would lay it flat. And have you ever looked at ancient depictions of ancient civilizations? I would say.
Well,
but yeah, pretty much kind of like that.
The problem is
Yeah.
that people go to the North Pole and South Pole all the time. There's people that live at the South Pole year round. So it can't be this big wide thing like it would have to be if it were like
Why not?
You're suggesting, because it's not that big.
Well, I've never been there, but I'm just
I
saying.
don't care if you've been there.
That's the map that we all use for travel.
No, it's not. In fact, the map that people use for travel is a globe. All maps, all navigation.
And what happens
is
when you
based
lay
on the
that globe flat?
It gets projected and distorted. It gets distorted. You know that, right? When you see a map,
I think
that says
the flat Earth was
projection,
projected onto a globe, and when you lay it flat, you get a square octagon map. You get a realm. Yeah, like if you lay
octagon.
if you like a square / octagon.
What's a square octagon?
I said square or octagon. I get what you're doing here. But anyway,
It's two different shapes.
I'm saying we live on a object like this, and you head in one direction long enough, you'll return to where you came from. And the map that you use is the same map that I use.
No, my map is based on a sphere. But so if somebody were to go
The
north,
map that you put on the sphere is the map that I use.
On your map, if somebody goes north from Siberia, they're going to wind up like falling off the edge of your map, or what's at the edge of your map?
I don't know. I've never been there.
You've never been there. So
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing map science. I'm arguing what I experienced with inside of my own. With the lights in the sky.
So deny everything that other people have done for centuries. Okay, got it.
No, I'm just using what we all use. That's it. Exact same thing everybody else uses. I use. So.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like a little Pac-Man-ish to me.
Yep, it's exactly what it is. It's a system environment.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So your particular the challenge to me though is to debunk your idea of the sun and moon and stars that we see are somehow personalized.
Correct.
Okay. So I need a little more information about your idea. So for example,
I can give you an example.
What is the sun made of, and how where is it located?
I don't claim to know where it is or know what it is. I know
Okay,
I know it appears to be a light.
I can't deny. I can't debunk. I don't know.
I don't claim to know everything.
Okay, but you want me to debunk your idea of the sun, and I ask you a qualifying question.
I'm just saying that it's small, close, and local. I'm not trying to claim what it is.
How far away is it?
I would say when I'm seeing it, it's within my horizon. Once it's rising to me, it's within my circle of sight.
Okay. So can you quantify that, please?
It depends on my elevation, atmospheric density. On an average day, I would probably say 50 miles max at most at the sun setting. So
The sun is 50 miles away when it's setting from you.
I would say about something like that.
And that's your personal sun. That everybody else has their own personal sun too.
It's like a grand design. We're all witnessing like the same kind of experience, but within our own circle of sight.
So now, what about a camera where there's not a person? It's just a camera.
I thought along about that too. That's a good question.
Okay, so
Don't have any answers on that one.
It's not very personal if it's just a camera.
But I know the cameras don't pick up light nearly quite the same as the sun, nearly as our eyes do. They're much
they
smaller, and I don't
better.
think so. I witnessed the sun and the moon much better than my cameras pick up. At least without zooming on them, but to the naked eye, the eye looks much better than my camera pictures do. So.
Wow. Well, get a better camera.
Why would I need a better camera when my eyes look perfectly fine?
Because cameras do much better than eyes do.
Okay. I like looking through my own experience.
I don't care about your own experience. There's things that we can do to measure and quantify things, right? For example, we can measure the angle to the sun, right? And we can say, all right, well,
like with crepuscular rays, we could do that, or.
I've never seen anybody measure the angle to the sun using crepuscular rays.
Oh, geometry. Make a triangle.
I've seen people make claims about it, but never actually use crepuscular rays to answer any questions like how high is the sun?
We'll say it would seemingly be localized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You made my point. Nobody's ever used crepuscular rays to quantify anything. Okay, in science, we can quantify things by measuring them, right?
So you can prove that the sun's 93 million miles away?
Well, pseudoscience would be where you go for proof. Okay.
Well, I'm just giving you what I observe, and I observe a small, close, and local sunlight.
Yeah.
And that's what thousands of millions of other flat earthers are experiencing too. I'm just the one suggesting that it's personal to every observer.
You're a little. I like your optimism there, but characteristics of pseudoscience number 8: professes certainty, talks of proof with great confidence. In science, we don't prove things.
I test and observe. Okay. That's what I do.
Yeah. So, but you asked for proof. So I just want to be clear. I don't prove that the sun is 93 million miles away. We just measure that the sun is 93 million miles away.
Okay.
Okay. So one way to do that would be to bounce radar off the sun and then time how long it takes for the light for the radar to go there and back. Right. So it takes just under 1,000 seconds from when you send the signal until you receive the signal back. About 980 seconds.
Do you have any observations that we can bring up pictures and look and test and observe, and you can show me time lapses, sunrises, sunsets? Do you have anything that you can physically show me with our eyes and be like, hey, look, it's over the curve. It's not in your atmosphere. It's 6 time zones away from you. It's not rising right there in front of you.
Yeah.
It's 6 time zones away from you. It's in England right now, even though you're in Texas and you're witnessing it with clouds behind it. Why do I witness the clouds behind the sun all the time? Can you answer that one for me?
That's never happened, in fact.
I can show you a picture of it on Netflix now.
What you can show is a picture of the sun without a solar filter on it, making it appear like you can't see the clouds that are nearby. But if you put a solar filter on it, you'll actually see it. Flat earthers never know how to do photography. I don't know. It's like it's a rule that you can't know how to do photography.
I see them with the naked eye, and I see them when I zoom in on them.
But the eye isn't a precision measuring device.
I said with the camera and the eyes. So you can go look at my.
I can with the camera and a solar filter on it show you what you're asking for.
And you've been to Dallas, and you've never witnessed the clouds behind the sun.
I don't need to go to Dallas.
So it's really flat here, and you can see the sunrise and set from a far distance.
So
it becomes at a low angle from you, and you can see the clouds behind it.
The sun could never set if the Earth were flat. That's kind of silly, but anyway.
Why could it not? If it's not setting for your individual circuit, how could it not set for you?
Because what you've done is you've described a very vague and general idea.
I thought it was very specific.
No, it's very extremely vague. Very specific would be it's you give quantities. It's this far away, it's this angle, here's how I predict the angle of this is, you've got no predictions. In science, we predict things. And then you make a prediction, and if that prediction is correct, then that gives credence to the model that you've put in to building that prediction, right? So you didn't actually make a prediction. For example, in Sydney, Australia, on December 20th, using your idea, your very specific, apparently, idea, what angle will the sun rise in Sydney, Australia on December 20th?
I'm not from Sydney, Australia, so
I don't care. If your model was any good, it would tell me which angle it would rise from. If you don't have that, you don't actually have a specific idea. You have a vague generalization.
I'm speaking from personal observation and experience that I want people to go just test and observe them themselves.
It's not testable. We can't even
Why is it not?
Because you won't even.
If the sun is at 4 p.m. is lighting up all the clouds within your area, the insides of all the clouds, then you could say it's within the. What prediction?
How can I make prediction with it?
What prediction?
Angle will the sun? What time will the sun rise? What angle will it be at noon on any particular day on any part of the earth? Anything.
It works exactly the same as lobe science. Because I'm using the exact same map you're using. I'm just saying it's small, close, and local to me. Actually, flat, stationary.
Here's what I can do. I can take a physical globe, and I can put it on my table, and I can put a light source far away from it.
Well, I haven't built a model, so
hold on. I'm not done talking. And I can set it for whatever day of the year I want, right? By adjusting the tilt on it, and then I can say, all right, well, for sunrise on December 20th. On Sydney, Australia, put a point right there on where Sydney, Australia is, and look at the angle to the sun and measure that on the actual globe, right? And I can predict the actual angle of sunrise, right? Then we can go and we can look and see what angle did the sun actually rise on that day, right? So that's how you make a prediction. That's how we do science, right? You have a hypothesis. With your hypothesis, you make a prediction. Then you test your prediction to see if it's correct. And if the prediction is correct, that gives credence, it gives support to your hypothesis. You don't have a hypothesis yet. I need that in order to test it, and then we can see if it's debunked or not.
Gotcha.
So
I understand what you're saying. So
how can I make a prediction from your hypothesis here?
The sun and the moon circuits are always the same, and they're of the Earth, so they're going to always, the angle of the light's going to be the same. It's just on a flat and stationary model. The angle at which you're going to see that light in Australia will be the same on your model as it is in my model. The circuit of the sun is always constant, and it's seasonal. So
you don't have a hypothesis yet. That's
well,
the problem.
I'm saying your model is built off my model, and you're saying my model is built off your model.
You don't have a model yet, because we can't even make.
I told you, lay your globe flat and bring everything local to the observer, and that's what you're witnessing.
Okay, so maybe I'll do this then. I will. I have an idea for you. I think you like the equinoxes, right?
I like equinox, yeah.
Okay, so on the day
bit of equal light
of the equinox, what angle does the sun rise? Everywhere.
Somebody said you're a danger to children. What the hell?
So what angle does the sun rise on the equinox?
You're east, directly east.
Due east.
Due east. You're
okay.
You face east, and it's where it rises from.
Yeah. Everywhere.
For everybody, because it's personal to you, right?
And so now on the equinox, the sunrise is at the same time everywhere on one line of longitude, right? So if we take your map, and I'm not gonna where'd I put it? Right here. I'm not gonna cut this. I have it taped together. I'm not gonna undo that, right? But if we take your map here, right, and we look at here from the southern tip of South Africa all the way up to the top here in Scandinavia, right? All of these people see due east, the sun.
Correct.
Okay, and so that means that the sun for these people is off wrong way, that direction, over Siberia maybe, and for here it's over, Australia. at the same time for those people, right? So this isn't what we use, because that fails instantly, because there's only one sun, actually, right? Not infinite suns for every point of the Earth, right? So you've said so far, it looks like it's a dome to me, but
I haven't said anything about a dome, really.
Didn't all right, whatever you said. You didn't describe a mechanism by which it works. You didn't propose.
I'm only going off of my experience.
You didn't propose anything that we could use to test your idea. So I can't debunk what has not yet been bunked. You need to first substantiate your claims in a manner that we can test.
Pull up any pictures of the sunrise or the sunset.
That doesn't substantiate it, right? That completely matches the globe.
All right. You ever looked up at the moon at midnight and it's only illuminating nearby clouds above your head? You ever done that? Okay.
Sure.
So say you're on a plane and there's nothing blocking between you and a second observer that's 2 miles away. The second observer is going to see that moon above their head, and you're going to see the moon above your head. Both people are going to be witnessing a personal moon that's lighting up their personal cloud, and the moon is a physical object, supposedly you're saying, lighting up a physical object, which is the cloud. So if that cloud is fully lit up, then it should be fully lit up to both observers. But only one observer is going to witness the light, and that's the person, the cloud they're seeing above them. If they look at the other person's cloud, it's going to be dark to them. But a physical light lighting up a physical cloud, you should see that cloud lit up, but you're not. You're only seeing your light because it's personal to you.
Okay, so you don't understand how light comes through clouds.
Right.
Got it.
So I understand how a physical light lighting up a cloud, that cloud should stay lit up. Regardless of how the light behaves, that cloud should stay lit up.
Yeah, so the problem is that you're not understanding that the light is actually lighting up all the clouds, but because of the stacked clouds that you're looking at, you see all the stacked clouds.
So the moon is lighting up something? It's a moonlight?
Yeah.
It is? Yeah, the moon is a light, you're saying?
The moon, light comes from the moon. Yes, it goes from the sun, bounces off the moon, and then comes to us.
Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering. You kept calling it moonlight, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, that is what we call it.
All right. And you keep calling it a sunrise. I haven't figured out what y'all call Earth spin quite yet, but you keep saying sunrise, and you keep using flat Earth terms.
Well, from an ECEF model reference frame, it is appropriate. So it's based on reference frames, right? So everybody has their own reference frame, which is from their point of view. So it's fine to say in a non-formal method, you can say sunrise, but yeah, if you want to get real particular, it is specifically the Earth rotating. But people understand that, right? So anyway, I got a couple of questions here. A guy called "I've never seen such behavior in the war room before" is asking you, according to the globe model, not your model, according to the globe, why are there 2 celestial poles?
According to the globe model?
Yeah.
Some long drawn out argument about magnetism, I would sure. So, magnetic poles, yeah.
Celestial poles, not magnetic
celestial poles, yeah.
Do you know what celestial poles are?
Yeah, and I know how they work on a square plane too.
What are the celestial poles?
Well, there's the North Pole where everything spins around Solaris, and there's the Southern Crux where everything spins around the southern location, which seems more open than it does closed. When like the Northern Solaris seems more like a tighter spiral, where the Southern Crux is more wide open. It feels like, from all the star trails that I've observed and witnessed. So.
Or wide open. I don't know what that means.
It's got a wider type rotation when I look at time lapses. There's no focal point spiral. It's more like a wide open area when it's rotating around the southern point.
So that the stars near the middle of the southern celestial pole aren't as bright as the stars near the middle of the north celestial pole?
I don't know. I've never been there, so I can only tell you the stars that I observe. So
just trying to clarify what. All right, so there you go. I've never seen such behavior in the war room before. P. Barnes has noticed that it sounds like a Sunview timeshare. Like everybody has a chance to see the sun for a minute. Like maybe it's more like a microkernel in an operating system where your time sharing, time slicing, right?
I think the lights are being projected from an outside plane onto our plane, and that's what we're seeing. Like we're seeing a projection.
What are they
The lights
projecting
are.
onto?
I don't know the upper sky somewhere. I don't know the firmament. I would say, whatever.
Okay, and
Upper firma, terra firma, lower
how
firma.
far away is the firmament?
It's the sky. The sky is the firmament.
Is it a physical thing or just
No, I think it's
the
no. I
the
don't believe it's a hard
expanse?
dome. I like there's a lot of flat earthers that believe it's a glass, molten glass ceiling, but I don't think molten glass spins in three separate directions.
Okay,
So
so it's projected onto the firmament, but the firmament isn't.
it's a magical, illusory, non-tangible object that holds the stars and the sun and the moon. Yeah,
Magic.
yeah,
We're
it's
back
magic.
to we're back
Yep.
to pseudoscience. Um,
Just like with people upside down, balls floating in the middle of nothing, and a
so
perfect clockwork,
yeah,
biological clock for every person.
That's
But
just strawman.
that's
But
perfect science rotating around each and every one of us. That's an accident.
so see number 9. That's commits logical fallacies, arguments containing errors.
Something
in
out of
reasoning.
nothing is a logical fallacy. Water sticking to
again-
the exterior of objects is a logical fallacy.
Yeah, more.
You thinking
logical
that you
fallacy.
can see 4,000 miles to a sunrise is a logical fallacy.
No, it's actually measured and testable and confirmed and backed by many observations.
Okay.
Number 5. This is the good one. Characteristics of pseudoscience. Number 5 lacks plausible mechanism. No way to explain it based on existing knowledge. That is characteristics of pseudoscience number 5. Number 2 would be relies heavily on anecdotes, personal experiences, and testimonials.
Wow.
That is
Shouldn't
pseudoscience.
Shouldn't that be what everybody does? Rely on personal experiences and experiments that people can go test and repeat themselves? That's what I do on my channel. So
yeah. So number 1 characteristic of pseudoscience is it is unfalsifiable. So you have described something that cannot be tested. Therefore, it is unfalsifiable. Everything you've described so far is pseudoscience.
To you.
I guess people that
what
agree
you believe.
with pseudoscience is.
What you believe. This is what I observe and experience in my reality.
So, all right. The logical hillbilly says a new flirt tactic be as vague as possible to avoid having to show evidence. Not that they ever do anyway. I mean, I've done a couple hundred of these, and no flat earthers ever brought evidence. You've made claims, and you want something debunked, but you didn't describe it well enough to actually test. So, but yeah, the logical hillbilly, that's pretty common. That's exactly what Nathan's little clone does.
So, question: do you think the sun following me down the highway? You honestly think that's parallax, and that it's able to follow everybody within the same time zone, and then that's parallax? That's the reason they're witnessing it follow them.
That is literally how things that are very far away act. Yeah. So if you're driving down the road, the trees really close to you whiz by. The trees farther don't move as much.
I get how motion works. I'm just asking you. No, I get
away.
you.
Hold on. No,
I understand how it works. I understand how it works. You don't have to talk down to me.
Very far away. They
you don't have to talk down to me. I understand how all that works.
That's how that.
I'm just asking if you honestly think it doesn't follow you. You honestly think that that's what the definition is, and what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's how things that are very far away act.
Okay.
I got some toon shine here, so hold on.
So how come I can zoom in on stars but not objects on the horizon?
What do you mean?
How come I can't magnify an object on the horizon and it seems to be out of my Nikon P900 zoom range, but I can zoom in on a star trillions of miles away that seems to be pretty small as well? You
can zoom in on anything. Zoom just makes
it's a magnify. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes things larger. That's all it is. And if the aperture has enough size, then it can enhance the detail as well.
Right. But it's trillions of miles away. How is this low zoom camera pulling that off? Like,
I've never actually seen something that a P900 or P1000 actually zoom in on a star. They still remain a point light source. in a camera that's properly focused. You can zoom in on like Jupiter and Saturn. You can actually with a P900 or P1000, you can make out Jupiter's moons. So that's cool. I don't know how you.
So do you think we landed on the moon? Do you believe everything NASA's ever said and done?
I believe that my friend Charlie Duke, who signed this book, I bought it right there, that he was on the moon. Yes.
Okay.
So, all right, where did this? Oh, do plants photo? Hold on. This is a little scrolled funny. From P. Barnes again is asking another question too.
So how did, can you answer this one since you seem to be pretty intellectual? Sure. How did Nixon call the moon from a landline?
Did you really not do your own research on that?
No, it's 239,000 miles away. I lose signal down the highway.
He didn't do it from a landline. Are you asking sarcastically? Or are you actually asking?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll answer you, but it's embarrassing for you.
Well, give me my embarrassment then. I want to hear it. Yeah.
He didn't.
We have two different audiences, so I'm a little bit playing to them as you're playing to your audience. So
there it is.
It's entertaining for both of our crowds. So
he called down. He called to I think Houston over the landline, and then they relayed it over a radio dish, to the moon. Right. I don't know why that's a hard thing to understand.
Okay.
Why would you ask such a silly question? Like, did you not actually do any research on that?
I just wanted you to answer it, that's all.
But did you not actually do any research on that? Because it's not that hard to figure out. Flat earthers ask that kind of stupid stuff all the time on Facebook, as if it's going to support their point. All it does is make them look stupid. So did you do that to make yourself look stupid?
No.
Because that's all you've accomplished there.
So you think we can send a signal 239,000 miles away and have it perfectly commute signal back?
Absolutely. It's not difficult.
Okay.
Anybody with a ham radio who cares to do it can do it. They do the EME all the time. Earth, moon, Earth. They send a message and they bounce it off the moon and they can hear back their own voice. Right? If you were interested in confirming if the moon is close or far, you could go find a ham radio guy that would do it for you. The problem with ham radio guys is getting them to not tell you all sorts of stuff. I don't know if you ever met one.
I had a friend that used to call himself some kind of squirrel master and play on CB radios all the time. So I know the type of crowd you're talking about.
CBs aren't quite the same, but
same kind of character.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, and they always have I don't know if it's here, but they always have their license plate as their call sign, and there's a 0/ in it. All right. So P. Barnes asks, do plants photosynthesize using their own personal sun, or do they borrow the nearest person's personal sun?
I would say there's light of the Earth, and of your grid location, you will see certain things like the aurora borealis, certain phenomena, eclipses that are of the Earth. The plants are of the Earth, as well as there's a source of the light, but you're witnessing your own inside of your own experience bubble. They're small, close, and local to each observer when you see them, but there is a sourced light for all of us. So.
Okay. That doesn't really answer much, does it? It's not very testable. How can I test that?
Well, you have all these definitions of how it's not personal to you, like parallax and yada yada yada, and I can explain it for multiple and close and far
you
person.
You can measure things.
Yeah, so
you can measure things, right? All you have is, well, I don't know. It just looks like this to me. That's
measure
not
things
science.
Outside of my experience bubble. I'm going to measure something that's within my circle of sight, and that thing that I'm witnessing that appears to be projected right above me, and you're going to tell me it's the same one 5,000 miles up underneath the ball, even though mine's above me and theirs is below them down here, and that's the sun's going here is parallax. But even though it's going the opposite direction, so you got Johannesburg is down here and Finland up here. They're separated by 6,000 land miles. and
Yeah.
the sun's on top of both of them going in opposite directions. How is it over here? That's parallax, though. Like, what is?
It actually is perfectly predicted on the globe.
Hmm.
The angle to the sun from
They're in
both of those
opposite directions,
positions.
though.
Yeah. So in Johannesburg, at midday, the sun is due north, and in Finland, the sun is due south midday. Perfectly predicted on a globe. It's not that difficult.
Well, you keep giving me predictions and things, and I'm just saying I don't.
That's what science does.
Yeah. Well,
And
you're
given
giving
nothing.
you're giving me things that are just commonly known. Need not say, but they all work on my model. I'm trying to ask you to provide me physical observations and evidence that you're not doing through pictures or some kind of show within your own experience that you can provide for me that what I'm saying.
Well, I sure, absolutely. I personally measured the angle to the sun on the same day as multiple other people did. Okay, both on both solstices and both equinoxes.
I've done this too.
Right. So on the equinoxes, I'm in Minneapolis, and I am very close to 45 degrees north. So the angle to the sun was very close to 45 degrees above true level, right? The zenith angle was 45 degrees. Now I am 3,105 miles from the equator. So when you do that simple triangulation, how high is the sun if the earth is flat?
I'm asking you to give me observations, not mathematical equations and
I don't care that
things
you don't
like
understand the math. Right?
You
this
can
is
run
how
through
science is
equation
done.
after equation that has no relation to the reality that's
Okay, so you just have
That's
no.
what Tesla said. That's what Tesla said. So
I don't get Tesla knew the Earth was a globe.
did he though?
He did,
because I have
he did,
lots of quotes that would suggest that he did not. He also believed in the firmament. He said it 3 or 4 times in several different speeches, which means you don't believe in outer space. Which means you don't believe in outer space.
Hold on. So. Firmament doesn't mean to him what it means to you. To him, firmament means sky, because they were King James was the version of the Bible. Yeah,
that's what I saw. So that's what I call it too.
Sky. Whatever is the sky is the firmament to them.
Yeah, the stars are in the sky.
It's not a solid thing. You don't think it's a solid thing.
Nope.
It's just the expanse. So, but Tesla talked at length about sending satellites into space in orbit around the Earth. He talked about rockets. So he talked about he calculated the amount of time that it would take for an electromagnetic wave to go around the Earth.
He was trusting the scientists that were also putting knowledge before him and what they were saying. So,
but absolutely, and so you don't get to
trust
say
is
that
how we become deceived.
Because it wasn't.
Well, I could bring up many quotes that where it would disagree with lobe science. Many quotes. So.
Yeah. Oh, we've got in the chat here. I've got Many Karen, who is who lives in Israel, and his first language is Hebrew, and it's just sky.
Yeah.
Firmament.
Father sky, firmament, dome, all the same thing. Yeah.
So all right. So you've not provided anything yet, and for some
reason
I'm
not challenging you. You're challenging me.
No.
Yeah.
You
accepted my challenge.
Yeah, I accepted your challenge. So I'm asking you
to debunk my theory. That was the challenge.
But you haven't provided.
You haven't provided me with any observations. None of your own. Nothing of your own. But
you haven't yet provided a hypothesis that I can test.
Mathematical equations that have no relation to my reality.
It's not a straw man at all. To do math, somehow you think is a straw man.
Show me reality.
That's thing ever. You. Okay, you have not yet provided anything that I can test. Nothing to debunk has been presented yet. You've said, I kind of feel these things are this way. Debunk it. No, I'm sorry. You didn't present anything that I could debunk. Right? Here's the deal. People have measured the distance to the moon. People have measured the distance to the sun. You provide, I don't like it, therefore it's not real. I just saw something, and that's it.
Yeah.
You are specifically just stating your opinion and ignoring measurements because you don't like them. Right? So
I'm saying what you're witnessing works on my model too, regardless of your measurements,
actually,
because it's personal. The observer, they're going to witness it at the same angle anyway.
But personal to the observer is not testable. It's an unfalsifiable claim. It is pseudoscience.
That's what we're observing, and I know hundreds of people that are all experiencing what I'm experiencing. So why is it a growing movement where they're all experiencing the
because
same thing?
There's a growing movement of people that don't understand science, like you.
Okay.
You don't have a clue about science. Right?
Well, you want to discuss academia, and I want to discuss science. I want to test and observe. You want to discuss statistics and academia, what's already agreed upon, not groundbreaking science, which is what I'm offering to you. And I'm asking you to show me observations, show me a sunrise, show me a sunset, show me some pictures where it doesn't seem local to you.
Seem local is useless.
Observed local. Yeah. Is that better for you?
I don't care. How about measured? That's how we do science, right? You measure things. You make a prediction. You measure it. You see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, then you start over. You adjust your hypothesis.
Show me these measurements. Show me a video of somebody measuring this.
Sorry, measurements aren't just video. Scientists
don't do their
work. They don't do their work on YouTube.
They should. It would end a lot of flat Earth debates.
There is actually no debate. It's just a big joke.
Okay.
I list these as entertainment.
I do too.
It's entertainment for intelligent people.
Actually, I don't ever come to these. I just,
yeah. So what groundbreaking? You presented nothing groundbreaking, right? If you wanted to do something groundbreaking, that's what theories are.
They suggest something, and they test and observe it,
and then you test it. But I can't test. How do I test?
Go outside and look around, drive around.
And then what? Look around and drive. How do I test it? How do I measure the distance to the sun using just look around? You can't. Right? It's just, it looks like this. No, here's what happened. You decided that the earth is flat. And now you're trying to shoehorn an idea into it to do it. You've done the opposite of science. You started with a conclusion. You're looking for things that you can shoehorn fit into your conclusion, ignoring things that you don't like, and then declaring, I've proven myself. You didn't do that, actually. You didn't prove anything. You didn't substantiate anything. You just said, it looks this way. It doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. We can't test that. That's anti-science.
So you don't want to observe anything or look at anything? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I can look at it and I can,
show me something.
See, hey, the sun has set. Something got in the way of it. Right? If the earth were flat, nothing could ever get in the way of the sun. The sun could never set if the earth were flat. This is simple, right? It's simple geometry. You don't even have to do any math, right?
Well, the ground you're standing on is going to become eye level, so therefore you can't see behind your eye level, and it's going to set behind.
Here's your flat Earth, right? There's
telephone poles disappear, but they're on the flat plane, right?
Here we go. Here's the sun.
Mm-hmm. I've been on a 100-mile stretch of flat land in Texas.
Here we go. Here's the sun.
And watch things disappear.
Hold on. Here we go. See that? There's the sun. There's an angle. See that angle theta there?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Now, if I move the sun farther away, right, which is fine, right, we get a new angle of theta. It has reduced. Okay? How far away does the sun need to be for theta to become negative? Do you know? This is simple. We teach this to 7th graders. Preston, did you like just not pay attention in school?
So are you done presenting your little demeaning, condescending sideshow? I thought we could be actually nice and civil to one another. You're being a complete fucktard. Like,
you've presented nothing.
No, you're being a
fucking
asshole. You're being a fucking asshole.
You've got
you are. Look at your little shitty grin on your face.
Why are you being a fucking I'm making fun of you for being so dumb that you can't comprehend 7th grade math.
You're saying, I learned it. What I learned in 2nd grade is the truth, globe science.
This is
and now
just
it's
math.
What I choose to believe, and I'm going to make model fucking
absolutely.
spaceships on the back
Because
of my
flat
desk
Earth is a religion
and
for
have toys
uneducated
and
science
books from
deniers like
Masons.
you. That's
No,
it.
but you can't show me
It's
the
it's your
observations.
religion.
No, it's your
It's your
religion.
religion because you
Copernicus is your
deny
Jesuit priest.
actual math.
Do you have a
actual
drawing of
observations.
Copernicus on your wall somewhere? Like maybe next to Epstein and
So here's what
Clinton's
you've done.
photo?
You've demanded
No, I'm asking for you to show me some
challenge,
proof.
and you've presented nothing.
You've presented nothing
at all.
You've presented nothing at all.
I
made a simple statement, an observation.
I showed you how the sun, right here, the sun cannot set.
You showed me a pen and a drawing. You showed me a Sharpie and a white sheet of paper.
That's all I need to debunk flat Earth. This is it. The sun could never set if the Earth were flat.
I thought this was going to be better. I thought this was going to be a better little show, rather than just.
But you presented nothing.
No, I thought you would be able to like.
But you have pseudoscience. You have unfalsifiable claims, and personal anecdotes.
No, I can only speak from my experience. And multiple observation, triangulated experiences that would.
You did no triangulation. Where's your triangulation?
Well, at the moon, I told you about why is it not lighting up.
That's not triangulation.
Well, you can do it with multiple people. You triangulate it. Yeah, there you go.
That's not triangulation. That's
multiple observation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why am I not seeing their cloud lit up even though it's lit up to them? Can you answer that question? And you're going to say perspective, and that's not how light works, and you're going to explain things away because it's an optical illusion, or that's how parallax works, or some scientific explanation that has no relation to the reality what I'm looking at.
Science hurts your precious.
Academia that has been controlled and is not letting in other sciences and observations to be said.
You didn't present any science. You presented pseudoscience. It's unfalsifiable.
No, I presented what people are experiencing in reality. What multiple people are experiencing that I've gone and tested with people.
But you've presented
I've done this test
mechanism
with people, and we're experiencing dark clouds to one another.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll get it on Google Hangout for you, and I'll be sure to link it to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Angel Gary is asking, drive around and tell me how fast you're going without measuring the speed. Right? When you drive around, you look at the speedometer, right? There's a measurement there. Mm-hmm. Are you going to deny that measurement?
No,
no, you're not. Right? The reason why you're not is because you know you need to be accurate, or you might get in trouble and get pulled over and have some fines, right? But if you didn't have a speedometer, you wouldn't know how fast you're going. Your body doesn't have that capability.
Correct.
Right? It's just
when you're moving and when you're not moving, though.
Our bodies are not equipped with precision measuring instruments. Right?
You don't think we have finely tuned senses?
No, not at all. We have tape measures and rulers and
how many branches did you hit on the way down? I think I have pretty good senses. I think I can tell when I'm moving and when I'm not moving.
No, you actually can't. What part of human anatomy measures constant velocity?
Oh, I know when I'm moving in a car and when I'm not moving in a car. I know when I'm moving in a plane and not moving in a plane.
The reason why is because there's slight movement. But if you're in a plane moving at 200 miles an hour or 600 miles an hour, can you tell the difference?
No, just like if everybody's moving fast down a super fast highway, it's relative to everybody around you moving.
Exactly. You don't have, there's no part of the human anatomy that can measure constant speed. None. Right? So you can measure, we cannot measure, we can feel acceleration. But once we get to speed, we can't feel that. We can feel bumps in the road. We can feel slight changes in the plane because it's
you keep explaining things to me though. I want you to show me something that I can say, oh, the sun's not within my perspective or circle of sight,
it's just a sunset. It blocks it. But here's the deal: you have not provided a plausible mechanism yet. I can't debunk an implausible mechanism. There's no debunking. It's just a vague idea, untestable.
So you can't debunk it.
Because there's nothing to debunk.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's nothing to debunk. You
provided absolutely nothing. It's a complete fail from the beginning. You didn't even show up to the race.
I explained it. It's observations that I've explained to hundreds and hundreds of people that I don't even need to show them. They can go do themselves.
But that's not science. It's just a vague idea, untestable.
It
That's
seems like
it.
I got some of your viewers over here in my little chat room. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So who is controlling academia, and do they have space lasers?
I would probably say the Catholic Church. That's probably who I would point to.
They're
Yeah.
pretty terrible in academia, actually.
Well, they started your little ball.
But they didn't. It was Greeks over 2,000 years ago. That
Galileo, right? Sure.
Galileo was not Greek.
Yeah. Who was it? The what's his name? Who's your priest? What's his name?
Keep going. Keep going.
It doesn't matter because it still has nothing. Can you show me some reality? Like, you can screen share right now and we can talk about what you're screen sharing. So you can click on something like, hey, you went camping this weekend, show me some pictures, and we can be like, oh, yeah. look up at the clouds. If you love the sun and sky so much, then you should have done some sky watching, and we could look at those pictures. You went camping. Where'd you go?
I went south of Duluth.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I measured the angle to the sun, and what I can show you is a picture of that. All right, let me get it for you. I will get it. It's on my website at mcToon.net. I think it's December solstice is what I called it. I'll get that up.
Because I didn't come here to discuss academia. I came here to discuss science and observations. You've repetitively brought up academia.
Not yet once addressed science, because you don't know what science is.
I've asked you to bring up something that we can observe, and we can do that together.
How to provide a hypothesis that's testable, right? If you had a hypothesis that was testable, then
there's people in my chat room that agree with everything I'm saying and that what I've observed too. So,
but they're idiots too. I got to be honest. That they don't know what science is either.
You hear that, guys? You're all idiots. You're all idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I've never.
I admit to know nothing. I admit to know nothing. Yeah.
I've never yet met a flat earther that knows what science is.
It's testing, observing, and repeating reality around you.
Thank you for showing that you don't actually understand what science is. All right.
Okay.
There is my 2019 December solstice. So here is my tripod in the parking lot there. And you can see where I measured the length of the shadow, 121 inches. And I measured the height of the tripod there, 50.5 inches about. Okay. Now, knowing that I am a certain distance from the Tropic of Capricorn, we can put that distance in and we can calculate to see if the Earth is flat, what is the elevation of the sun from my position.
These positions and angles work on my model as well, because depending on your grid location, you're going to see all the stars, sun, and moon based off your grid location, because they're your compass, they're your calendar, they're your month, they're your day. They let you know where you are, when you are, at all times.
I was actually presenting to you. You asked me to present something, so.
Well, I'm telling you, it works on my model too, and you
shut
keep
your yap
condescending
while I'm showing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the distance.
We'll do it without the condescending. Yeah.
So the sun elevation on flat Earth from Minnesota is, on December solstice, is 3,163 miles elevation. The problem is that in Israel, at 36 degrees north, using the same mechanism, the sun is 4,468 miles in elevation. They don't match. There's just one sun. The flat Earth hypothesis is falsified. But now, if we do the same thing and we hypothesize that the Earth is very far from the sun and that the Earth is a sphere, we can actually measure the radius of the Earth using, and you can see on here I have 3 different measurements. and they all come out to very close to each other within the margin of error there. 6,437 miles. Or these are kilometers, sorry.
Are those grid locations?
Grid locations. What are you talking about?
Of the Earth,
locations?
Longitude, latitude, so they're of the Earth, right?
The latitude right here.
Yeah.
Is
okay.
45 degrees, 45.57, 45.02,
okay.
31.35. Right? Those are the latitudes, because for this particular one, the longitude doesn't matter. It matters to the distance to the tropic.
Because the sun's always over the longitude line, because it's.
Yes. So
it seems to be small and local over everybody over the entire longitude line.
So this is at local solar noon, which is identical time for everyone on the same longitude line. Right? Everybody experiences the same local solar noon.
That's what the mainstream flat Earth model is. It's a sun chart, and that's what, it's a time and longitude calculator. Yeah. So we could just use that model for doing what you're doing right now.
Actually, you can't.
Yeah, because it's a sun chart.
But that only works for getting for talking about latitude and longitude. But as soon as you actually test it, by looking at the angle to the sun over a hypothesized flat Earth, every single latitude gets a different elevation for the sun.
Because
it fails.
An equidistant map. It's distorted from the center.
Yeah, it's distorted. But here's the problem. It doesn't matter. There is no flat Earth map that works for this, because every one of them gets a different elevation for the sun. Every one.
Mine is based off your grid location, and yours is based off of it being a sphere and how far you are from the center mass.
You missed the part where I hypothesized that the Earth were flat. Okay.
And it works.
It's not based on the globe, but right here, how far am I from the Tropic of Capricorn on your model?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, I'm not looking at a map right now and models and distances and times.
How can I figure that out on your model? You said your model works. I can't even get you to answer how I can figure out how far away I am from the Tropic of Capricorn.
Well, yeah, the sun is going to be at a lower angle the further you get from the equator.
Now, how far am I in Minnesota from the Tropic of Capricorn? How can I figure that out on your model?
You'd measure the angle of the sun to you. Yeah.
And then what?
You could tell how far you are from the equator based off the angle of the sun from you. That works on either model. Actually, I would say it would support my model more than yours.
Describe to me the method that I would do that, right? So here I am, 45 degrees north in Minnesota, and the angle to the sun.
I'm not here to discuss methods. I'm here to discuss what we're experiencing. I'm not your scientist or doing your research.
I'm trying to test your model.
Yeah.
Right. So
you do it the exact same way as ours. So it's just laid flat.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm hypothesizing that the Earth is flat, and I'm taking these three angles that I measured to the sun with my friends, and I'm testing them. So I just need to know, in order to test your model, how far am I at 45 degrees north from the Tropic of Capricorn?
I don't know. You tell me.
This is your model, not my model.
I'm not here to discuss that. I told you I'm here to discuss what we're experiencing.
You are here to have me test.
But the sun isn't at the Tropic of Capricorn or the Tropic of Cancer. It's within your small circle of sight. It's not. I can't see the Tropic of Cancer. I cannot see the Tropic of Cancer. I know I can't see an object rise from that far.
That's a claim without evidence.
No, that's
what can be asserted without evidence.
Within my own area, I see clouds behind the sun.
Can be dismissed without evidence. You've made a claim.
No,
it's not there.
You're making claims,
right?
Yeah,
so
what it is.
No, I'm asking you now, how far? How can I calculate using your model the angle to the sun? How far, using your model, am I from the Tropic of Capricorn? You don't even know that.
You don't have to travel the distance to measure that. So
that's it. That's all you have.
Well, we've measured it, so we could just look up a map, and I could tell you give me your grid location, and I could give you that.
Than my map.
No, it's the exact same one.
No, on my map, the distance between the lines of longitude get smaller the farther south you get and the farther north you get. In yours, the lines of longitude are always the same distance apart in your model.
Once again, you're discussing models. I'm discussing how we observe the sun, moon, and stars, small, close, and local to each observer. That's all I'm suggesting.
Preston, that's how you do science. You develop a model.
And I can't speak outside of what I can test and observe. And you're asking me to do that. And I can't do that because I'm not
asking me to debunk your model.
No, I'm asking you to debunk a theory about the lights that we're observing that appear to be small, close, and local to every observer. And many of people are thousands and thousands of people are all experiencing localized lights. And we're all experiencing it.
So you've said, but not supported.
Well, you haven't shown me any pictures. You started to show me rulers of concrete.
To be clear, Preston,
and this
so you understand. Just
and
a second.
You're using globe measurements that came from flat Earth measurements. And
a theory in science is what happens after a hypothesis, after you've done many, many tests. It's confirmed, right? So you're talking about, you want it to be a hypothesis, but you don't even have that. You have an idea. This is your idea, not your theory. This is your idea.
That people are observing and repeating themselves.
But yet not testable because you haven't described it in enough detail to test. So it's not a hypothesis yet. You didn't even get to a hypothesis, Preston. Preston.
Yeah,
you have nothing.
Just reading.
You didn't get to a hypothesis yet. Nobody can debunk a not hypothesis. There's nothing to debunk. You presented nothing. I'm trying to measure the angle and then test your model because you say it's the distances.
I'm not asking for academia and measurement. I'm asking to look and observe. I want to see you showed me a ruler. You didn't show me pictures.
I'm trying to test your model. I'm trying to evaluate your idea, but it's not even testable at all.
You have are observations, not evidence. What? How? Okay, this is getting a little redundant. I got to get my kids ready for bed, and we're running in circles here. You're saying do these mathematical equations, and I'm saying show me observations, and we're not meeting in the middle. So
you didn't start yet. That's the problem, Preston. But that's fine. I'll let you go. Put your kid to bed.
Cheers, man. It was good talking to you.
On.
Appreciate you giving me your platform and vice versa. I subscribed. I hit the like button. Have a good night.
All right.
Mm-hmm.